Hello. I cannot see anyone. Is it good or bad? I don't know. Fair. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Let me find my notes. I found my notes. Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Michał Woźniak, although most people refer to me as rysiek. I am not affiliated nor related to Steve Woźniak, but I will have some choice words for Apple if you catch me later after the event and I have a beer. Anyway, technology and the future of democracy. So there's a prevailing feeling that in a way democracy is broken, or more specifically, the way we do democracy, the way we interface with democracy today is broken. And when you look at right-wing movements gaining traction all around the world with the help of troll farms and the help of clickbait propaganda, and when you look at how corruption still remains an unsolved problem, all those hundreds and thousands of years of human civilization, and when you look at how people still die of hunger and thirst at this suffocating planet while billionaires get more and more of the remaining resources available, yes, it does feel like democracy is broken. So it's only natural to try to find simple solutions. And technology sounds like a simple solution, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. So one reason why technology might sound like a simple solution, perhaps, is that it's such a powerful tool. We know that technology can make our lives better, and we know that it can save our lives. A pacemaker or an artificial kidney are wonderful, wondrous pieces of life-saving technology. But while tools themselves cannot be good or evil, they are also definitely not neutral either. Tools can be made safe, or they can be made dangerous, right? Their design defines what they can be useful for, and they can often be useful for things they have not been specifically designed for. Imagine a butcher knife and a butter knife. They are both knives. The names even sound quite similar. But a butter knife is good for only one simple thing, and it's really hard to abuse it to hurt someone, right? I haven't heard of anyone killed with a butter knife. So we need technology to be like butter knives, right? We need it designed by thoughtful engineers who considered all the trade-offs and potentially dangerous consequences of the design decisions they make. Instead, we get this. Instead, we get a technological equivalent of butcher knives designed by move fast and break things tech bros who, with no consideration for safety, security, or privacy. This is the actual motto of Facebook up until 2014. By then, Facebook had over 800 million users. That's almost 1 billion users. And they were, in a very meaningful way, a crucial part of internet infrastructure. Now imagine if other infrastructure was designed with this motto in mind. Imagine if the architect of this building that we're in right now had this motto, had this sentence as their motto. I wouldn't feel very comfortable in this building right now. But it gets even better, right? The shoddy butcher knife makers think they can actually solve difficult problems. So here's a quote. Lyft shuttle, who knows the company Lyft? Who has heard about Lyft? Okay, so explanation. Lyft is like an Uber. It's basically a different company that does the same thing. So they came up with this wonderful idea called Lyft Shuttle. Lyft Shuttle lets you pay a fixed rate along a predetermined routes during commute hours. The routes have set pick-up and drop-off locations. So you walk to a stop, hop in, hop out, and walk to a destination. Does this sound familiar? Does this technology sound familiar to anyone? Okay, who's thinking bus? Right? They reinvented a bus. They reinvented a bus in a technologically overcomplicated, needless way. And yes, public transport in many places has serious issues. But the solution is probably not going to be giving startups a way of monetizing public transport. We just need to fix public transport. And this is also the kind of a feeling I got when the gentleman from IBM was talking about AI fixing public consultations. Full-text public consultations have been invented, and politicians have more ways of getting public input than just a binary poll, but that's beside the point. Now, who knows this quote? Well, everybody knows this quote, right? It's from Jurassic Park. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should. And I would like to talk about Monero. Who has heard about Monero? Thank God. It's not very useful. It's a privacy coin. It's a cryptocurrency that cryptographically ensures that no transactions are traceable. Every transaction is separate and you cannot trace it back to the original account. So it sounds like a great idea. Finally, a digital cash replacement that is privacy, that supports privacy and all of that. The problem is that when you have cash has certain friction. If you want to pay for a coffee, that's fine. If you want to pay for a car, that's a lot of cash. If you're paying for an apartment, you're not going to use cash. And if you're going to extract 2 billion euros stolen from the economy of Moldova, you will definitely not use cash. It's not going to fit on a train. Whereas Monero doesn't have that problem. So it's not an exact cash replacement, and this means that Monero will probably not be very useful to babushkas in Chisinau that are just selling fruit and vegetables, but Monero will be extremely useful, and I would wager that would be mainly used by people who ransacked those babushkas' retirement funds. Oh. Wrong button. Technology is broken. Yay. There we go. Okay, moving on. So, some other wonderful ideas. Internet-connected sniper rifle. This exists. I don't even have to comment how bad an idea it is. And of course, it has already been compromised and proven to be, you can take it over, take it over via internet and do very dangerous things. Or take Microsoft Tay, a machine learning Twitter chatbot that had to be taken down within 16 hours of going live on Twitter because there's no easy way of saying that, it became racist. Or the Twitter algorithmic timeline, which was introduced in 2016 for all the users, and then was immediately hated universally, and finally in 2018, Twitter graciously decided that maybe users should be able to choose a regular, chronological timeline. And I like the timeline example because for me, it's a very good metaphor of the Silicon Valley solutionism, where wonderful, complicated, buzzword-heavy ideas or quote-unquote solutions are introduced that are great for investors, that get investors very excited, but are not very useful for the users. How does that happen? So, yes. So, to be clear, I don't think, for example, I don't think that Monero developers are evil. I don't think they maliciously try to build a tool that is going to be very useful to organized crime and corruption. I think they have good intentions. And I strongly agree with them on the privacy side, right? I've been a privacy activist for many, many years, and I feel very uncomfortable when I'm paying with a credit card. But they are willfully ignoring potential unintended consequences of what they're designing. They're not designing a butter knife, they're designing a butcher knife. And the important thing is that humans are short-sighted, they're ignorant, they're lazy. We all have those wonderful human qualities that kind of make us human. But so you have people like a person who deployed and this is true, an internet-connected fish tank thermometer. Let's stop a moment on this. There was a fish tank thermometer that was internet-connected at a casino lobby, and it was connected to the internal network as well to the internet. So of course, on one hand, it meant that whoever needed to monitor the temperature in the fish tank could do it remotely and easily. But on the other hand, of course, it meant that somebody used it to gain access to the internal network and steal the list of most valuable players. So these things happen, and it's not necessarily malicious. This person was probably not acting maliciously or in cahoots with the cyber criminals that then extracted the data. But every now and then, it is actually malice. Like when you have companies who are called out by hackers and the hackers are saying, look, you're hosting sensitive information on a public website with no password. Anybody who has the link can get all of the data. And this happens at least twice a year, right? And many of those companies, instead of saying, oh, thank you, oh that was bad, okay, let's fix this, they sue the people, right? They sue the people that tell them, hey, you have a problem, and maybe you should fix this. Or anybody heard about Sony CDs distributing malware? Yeah, that was a long time ago. So Sony at some point decided, hey, there's this problem of people copying music. And let's just put aside for a moment that copying music is quite legal in most places in the world, but beside the point. Sony decided, hey, this is a problem. So, I know what we're going to do. We will distribute malware on our audio CDs. Whenever you put a Sony audio CD, pressed about 15 years ago, into a Windows PC, this Windows PC will get infected from this CD. And the only reason for this infection is because Sony doesn't want you to copy music. So this is the only thing that the virus will do, block you from copying music from that particular CD. It's beautiful. It's such a simple, wonderful solution. So why do these things happen? Like we can guess, we know why these things happen, right? There's business models and there are stakeholders and stockholders and all of that. But as grown-ups, we should recognize that explanation is not justification. It does not make it okay, right? So Facebook keeps using this argument when asked about cyberbullying or cyber stalking or pick your, like troll farms, pick your problem, right? When they're asked like, why can't you do something about this? They very often say, oh, because we're working across many jurisdictions and within different legal contexts, and it's difficult, and across different cultures, and we don't want to be seen as censoring anyone. And okay, fair, yes, this is a concern. However, they put themselves in this position. They made a conscious business decision to become a monopolist, and so have many other big companies. So yes, this is an issue, but perhaps this is not a good reason not to fix this. Maybe you should not have become a monopolist, because now this is on you. This is your responsibility. So let me rephrase the title, right? And let's make it Democracy and the Future of Technology instead. Because we need to change the narrative. We need to fix the technology before we can use it to fix democracy. We need a scalpel, and instead what we have are, badly designed butcher knives. If you have ever tried to cut something with a rusty butcher knife, you know what I'm talking about. But there is hope. So, for example, even though Google Mapmaker, a tool which allowed users to edit Google Maps and improve them, had to be shut down due to vandalism. There was something about a park being made to look like a Android logo urinating on an Apple logo. But there's OpenStreetMap that still works, and even though they have less resources and less opportunities to moderate content, they're still there. And so first we need to reclaim the language, because companies like the whole Microsoft Facebook, as I will call it, they like to see us as users, as if the reason we use the fact that we are using their service defines us as people. But we are human beings and we are citizens in the first place. And as citizens, we need to make the word regulation not sound bad. Because the only way we can fix this, and there are problems with governments, trying to tell you what you can do online and what you cannot do online. But the only thing we can fix big tech and small startups is if we start regulating them. We also need to change the way we talk to each other online, because for tech companies, of course, this is content generation, and it's all about bringing more eyeballs and bringing more and maximizing profits, and this is what they designed their tools for. So no wonder that online discourse is breaking down, because what we do online is we communicate. We don't generate content, but we're using tools that were designed to generate content. So of course, discourse breaks down. And we need to recreate a culture where Yes, where communication can happen honestly and openly and in a way when we can agree on most basic facts. And this requires much more than technology. This will require education and empathy and constant effort. So we also need standards and not monopolies, because if you have a company that fully controls their walled garden, why would they care? Why would they want to throw hundreds of users off of their platform for being, well, Nazis, if they can have hundreds more users? So instead of move fast and break things, how about we change to this, right? How about we move slow and fix things? Because technology is important and it's a marvelous amplifier, but we have to be really careful what we amplify. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go with the questions now.
Oh, now I see people.
Yeah? Yes, please.
I want to ask about the content generators, because if you know, and if the others don't know, there's actually people behind it which watch these things, and there's a study that increases mental illness and increases suicide with these people which are working. So do you think technology can evolve in that sense, that there will not be people who are generating the content?
Well, I hope not. I hope we can just move away from content generation. I mean, what is content generation? Do I need the generated content? I need culture, I need communication, I need discourse online, I need all those human things. I don't need some content that has been generated for what exact reason I don't even know, right? So I don't think we need content to be generated. I think we need to have conversations online, and I think we have to have discourse online, and I think we have to have culture online and offline, right? But I don't think we need generated content. It just feels like unnecessary thing. Thank you.
Oh, yes, we have one more, please. Someone will give you the mic now. Yeah.
So listening to your talk, so I felt this cognitive dissonance the entire time, and probably everybody here, and so do you. So philosophically, I 100% agree, right? But realistically, isn't it irreversible somehow, all of this? Or when we discuss about privacy, isn't it becoming a Sisyphean struggle? Isn't it already too late? And maybe we only need to accept it and move forward?
But move forward where?
Without
like what?
that would
be my question.
Move forward openly.
Right.
So we are all open books, and we need to accept it.
Sure, but
I mean, not necessarily. Yeah, so
I understand. So what I'm going to say is, sure, there's it's not easy, fighting for privacy or fighting for other things right now. But I don't feel like the ship has sailed, and the way I know that the ship has not sailed is that Mark Zuckerberg, while standing on stages and saying how privacy is dead and nobody wants privacy, then buys a house and 4 houses around it just to have privacy, right? So clearly there's value in privacy. I don't know, maybe would he lie to us? So I think, and the other thing that I've learned throughout years of activism and years of going to public consultations and talking to people is that even though the privacy side or the activism side doesn't very often have the money and the resources that big tech or big pharma or big telecoms or whatever have, like, we cannot throw hundreds of lawyers at a problem, and we cannot throw hundreds of millions of dollars at a problem. And yet every now and then we win, right? Every now and then we're able to convince politicians and convince policymakers that, no, you know what, this is a terrible, the idea that no, don't do that, just stop doing that. And it sometimes works. So for me, I feel like there is huge discrepancy between resources on either side, right? But on the other hand, I don't know, it seems like we might be onto something, right? And people kind of resonate with that and kind of say, okay, yeah, maybe there is something to it, regardless of all the bullcrap sent from the other side. So I'm a little bit hopeful.
Thanks. Do we have... Oh, good. Okay. Yes, please.
Yep.
Okay, I have a follow-up question to the previous question that you answered about the content generators. I don't know. So what if that content can actually ruin somebody's life and you say that we don't need content generators?
Wait, so you're saying there are people who generate content which can ruin somebody's life?
No, I'm saying...
Okay. I'm confused.
What if that content can ruin somebody's life and we just leave it there on the internet for everybody to see?
Then in that context, I do not understand the phrase content generation.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Try to explain. We have time.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Can someone help me? Because I would like to. There's a question there.
I will ask you after the
Okay.
presentation.
I'm sorry. I just cannot grasp.
Yeah, don't feel pressured by the
Yeah.
red thingy over there. Although I know it might be difficult. Okay. If you choose to, if she chooses to, like,
Yes, please.
have this discussion.
I would like to
outside,
understand.
yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.